What's happening, me people? What's going on? Welcome to Flyers Talk Live. And of course, we're doing another quick one here today, guys, as the Flyers have not only concluded with this year's NHL Draft, but also have made a pretty big acquisition that we do need to talk about right quick, as I am currently taking the moment out of my night to in the middle of the Philadelphia Union match. Of course, the Phillies are delayed to talk about this because we need to talk about it because the offseason here for the Flyers is extremely important, like we talked about the other day. And the Flyers obviously concluded the draft. They made their picks. We have a picks to talk about here today. And of course, the move that they made, look, there was a lot of people who wanted a defenseman. Might not be the one that they may have wanted, but you wanted, and we did. Chuck Fletcher did go out and fulfill that need that the Philadelphia Flyers had. So we're going to talk about that. Before I dive into it real quick, guys, do me the solid, hit that like button, subscribe for more Philly sports talk. We'll be back at it later tonight for the Union match recap, as they're right now destroying DC, which is always good, right? Hopefully we can do that against the Capitals during the hockey season. But let's get straight to it, guys, because I want to start off by talking about the first round draft pick that went down yesterday. And with the fifth overall pick, the Flyers selected out of the U.S. development team Cutter Gauthier. I'm pretty sure that's the pronunciation. I'll get used to it, just like I do with every other Flyers and Union players, feels like. But it was a very interesting draft. Obviously, Shane Wright falls to number 4 overall in this year's draft, and that was obviously a little bit of a surprise because a lot of people had predicted that Shane Wright himself would be the one that would fall to go to number 1. They thought that a lot of people had Shane Wright written down, set in stone, going to Montreal, and it wasn't the case. Yaroslav Slafkovsky goes there. I like to see a little bit of that European flair at the top of this draft. I mean, Simon Nemec, a little bit of another surprise, goes to number 2. Logan Cooley goes to number 3, which I did see a lot of people having the Coyotes going for Logan Cooley, but then that left Seattle with a very easy opportunity to go pick up Shane Wright. And then, of course, Cutter falls to us here at pick number 5. And I did see a lot of people in mock drafts kind of predict Cutter coming to Philadelphia. I saw a lot of Urich, who fell just one spot below us to Columbus. He'll be heading to Columbus. And then, of course, I saw a lot of Matthew Savoy, who fell number 9 to the Buffalo Sabres. So it's not the worst case scenario. When you look at this organization, they do need centers, and especially centers with some size. I think right now you really look at Kevin Hayes and obviously Sean Couturier with a little bit of size, but other than that, this organization could use some more size. And this is a guy who plays in a similar style that I feel like the Flyers do want to play with. I'll read you guys the NH Elite Prospects, their little description of their scouting report on Cutter. He's good defensively, using his body well along the boards and in the corners, winning pucks and puck battles and moving up the ice. Offensively, he's incredibly efficient. The puck is on his stick and off his stick in transition, but he also recognizes when he is in pockets of space to initiate offense himself. Gauthier is unafraid to drive his puck to the net and protects the puck nicely when he chooses to do so. So obviously we need our centers to play defense. You talk about Sean Couturier, one of the best two-way centers that we have in the NHL, and I think that he's going to obviously go on and play for BC this upcoming year, his first year in college, and from what he said, and this is what Cutter said, he believes that just 1 year in college, 1 year with BC, he'll be more than ready to come here and play with Philadelphia. So you'd like to hear the confidence from a young kid, and he looks like a kid who just loves life, and he's super confident himself, and he's just ready to take on whatever challenge he has. And that's kind of what I got from those little bit of interviews that I saw from Cutter. But I think that his offensive game still needs a little bit more tooling. But last year with the U.S. Juniors, he played in 22 games. For the U.S. Juniors, he played in 22 games, 19 goals, 9 assists, total of 28 points. With the under 18 national team, he played in 54 games with them. 34 goals, 31 assists for 65 points. So I think that this kid is definitely in the right trajectory. And like we talked about at pick number 5, you definitely can get some solid talent. And the Flyers need to start getting players like this. Some talented forwards is obviously something that we lack, especially as forwards that we can draft and we can develop. And we have a stable of some young forwards that I generally I'm going to be enjoying watching and seeing their development come to fruition. But I thought the Cutter pick was pretty solid. Can't wait to see what he gives to us in the future. As far as the rest of the draft goes here, in the third round, pick 69, Devin Kaplan got selected. here for the Flyers. And then in the 5th round, at pick 133, you got Alex Bump. 6th round, pick 167, Hunter McDonald. I know a lot of Flyers fans don't want to hear that last name with the Flyers. At round 7, the Flyers had two 7th round picks. At 197, they selected Santeri Saluki. I'm sorry for the mispronunciation if I did. I'm more likely I did. But at pick 220, they selected Alexis Gendron with our final pick of this draft. And in total, the Flyers had 6 draft picks. Obviously, the news of the day was the Flyers trading away the 4th round draft pick for a specific player that brings a lot of controversy here to Philadelphia, but he's very familiar with the area. Flyers traded with the Carolina Hurricanes for Tony Deangelo, 3 picks, 1 this year. I believe it's a 3rd next year or a 4th next year and a 3rd in 2024. But either way, you have 3 draft picks sent over to Carolina for the services of Tony Deangelo. Look, I'm going to start off by saying this. Obviously, we know he's a local boy, and obviously he may be happy suiting up and wearing the orange and black. He does come with a lot of controversy. And obviously, as a man that is a minority here in America, don't feel too comfortable with Tony Dangelo as a person. The racial slurs, the homophobic slurs, besides his politics aside, politics they are what they are. I'm not going to fault a player for believing a certain type of way. But when you kind of just, pretty much propaganda to everyone and you had fights with teammates, it's not a good look. And obviously, the Rangers had difficulties of getting rid of him. The Hurricanes, a team who never likes to spend money, took a gamble on Tony Deangelo, and it definitely did work out. I mean, if you look at his season last year in 64 games, 10 goals, 41 assists, a total of 51 points. That is very good for a defenseman. And overall, Tony Deangelo has a lot of attributes that this team absolutely needs. A right-handed defender. Obviously, we needed that, and there was a lot of people who were complaining about the Cutter pick because, number one, I understand here in Philadelphia, we none of us here watches the NHL or prospects coming up in juniors, coming up in college. Doesn't matter what it is over in Europe. Nobody is sitting here like the NFL draft, the NBA draft, watching these prospects and what they could do. So people were killing the Flyers for drafting Cutter, not knowing a single thing about Cutter was absolutely hilarious. But then you have people saying like, we need a right-handed defender. Where is that? And everyone's like wondering why Jurich isn't getting drafted. Like, listen, we need to relax. None of us know what Cutter's going to be. None of us know what Jurich is going to be. But however, none of us also do not know what Tony Dangelo is going to do here. But I personally do think that Tony will succeed here. I think more so the concern is how he will be in that locker room. And you already have Chucky coming out and, advertising for him. Kevin Hayes came out with the quote, talk about his time with him in New York and how he's going to be a big help for this team as well. Very passionate, loyal guy, and that's great and all. And I do think that he will be able to get along with this locker. But I will say this, politics aside, obviously, beliefs aside as well. This is a locker room that, number one, now I'm not going to sit here and speculate what Tony Deangelo's vaccination status is. But we do have a locker room that when the whole COVID vaccine mandate came out, pretty much most of them, if not all of them, were vaccinated. And number two, the Flyers do come out with a lot of pride, I guess what do you want to say? Pride speeches, pride thoughts, and pride movements that they bring. Scott Lawton's part of one of the big pride LGBTQ, what do you call it? Foundations here in the NHL. And so will that belief, how Tony Dangelo how he will mesh here? And of course, you always worry about players coming back to their hometowns and how will they be focused and not. But I think overall this will definitely help. And I'm just looking at this defensive unit here for the Flyers. Right now it does look good. I mean, with barring health, and I really need to emphasize this, barring health, you're looking at defensive pairings of Ivan Provorov and Ryan Ellis, Travis Sanheim and Rasmus Ristolainen, and Cam York with Tony Deangelo. Now, again, barring health, those are pretty good line pairings. Now, obviously, we're all concerned about Ryan Ellis' injury and his health history. So, for Ryan Ellis, if he's not able to play, you're obviously going to have to move up Tony Deangelo. You might have to put Cam York back into an uncomfortable position. And then you also have Ronnie Attard and Nick Seeler, who will probably be battling out for that 7th defenseman this upcoming season. So, I think with the Tony Deangelo move, you definitely have upgraded your team. And overall, a lot of moves definitely need to be made. You did pay Tony Dangelo a $5 million deal for 2 years, so we're all wondering about Johnny Hockey and how that will work. I still think that two veteran contracts need to come off the books. I don't know how it happened, especially JVR was not dealt today or yesterday, so it's definitely going to be tough. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Obviously, we'll keep monitoring. We'll keep talking about it, whether it be live on YouTube or I'm so sorry about the motorcycles around my area, but whether it be live on YouTube or here on YouTube, a quick video like this, we'll definitely be having Flyers Talk and Flyers news out there for you guys. But guys, thank you so much for tuning on in today's Flyers Talk. We'll be back at it again tonight for the Union Match recap. Please make sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more Philly sports talk. And until next time, I'm in Parcero Philly. You guys, enjoy the rest of your day. Go Flyers.